Allowable expenses. There are a range of expenses that can be claimed by businesses and self-employed individuals. When seeking to reclaim some of the costs on these expenses, it is important to clearly understand what is and what is not allowable, as there are a strict set of guidelines that all businesses must follow. It would take a long time to go through the long list of allowable expenses, but here are a few common examples that we often come across at Salhan accountants. Business use of home. If a person works from home, they are able to claim a proportion of their electric, gas, water, council tax, insurance and mortgage interest or rent as an allowable expense. Professional cleaning fees can also be claimed as an expense. The amount claimed is based upon the proportion of a home that is used for business purposes and the amount of time working from home. Charitable donations. Tax relief can be claimed on some charitable donations against a person's income tax, including gift aid. However, charitable donations are not an allowable expense and should be taken into account separately in your self-assessment tax return. Clothing. The majority of clothing cannot be claimed as an expense. However, if you are required to wear a uniform or costume as part of your business, then these can be claimed. Clothing bearing a company logo is also an allowable expense, as is protective clothing and equipment. Food and drink. If a person or business does not have any staff, then it cannot claim the cost of food and drink. Businesses with employees can claim the cost of basic food and drink for them and free meals at a canteen, as long as they are available to all staff. A person or business can only claim food and drink when a journey is made outside of your normal working pattern, or if a person is staying away from home overnight for business purposes. Mileage. A business can claim mileage for journeys which covers the cost of fuel, running costs and wear and tear. Business journeys include any trips for solely business purposes, such as seeing a customer or supplier, deliveries or going to meetings. In order to claim, each employee must keep a mileage log and ideally any receipts from fuel purchases to evidence the journey when claiming the expense. Travel. If the main purpose of the travelling is for business purposes and a business can separate any personal costs, then it can claim the cost of travel, including flights, train tickets, tolls, parking costs and hotel accommodation. Stationery. Any stationery bought for the business can be claimed as an allowable expense, as long as it is purchased solely for business purposes. If there is any personal use, then the expense cannot be claimed. The examples I have listed are just a small example of allowable and non-allowable expenses. Next time you are unsure about whether or not an expense is allowable, why not give us a call? We are familiar with all aspects of the UK tax regime, including expenses and capital allowance, and can provide advice tailored to each person's requirements.